Welcome to Conversations About Cancer. I'm Susan DiNapoli, the proud daughter of Sue DiNapoli and the executive director of Sue's Gift Gynecologic Cancer Support. This video series is intended to share the stories of women with gynecologic cancers, to raise awareness, to share resources, and to inspire and bring hope to newly diagnosed patients. Today, I am honored to have a conversation about cancer with Cheri, who was diagnosed at age 49 with stage 4 ovarian cancer. Cheri, hi, how are you? Thank you for doing this with me.
Hi, I'm good.
Good, thank you so much. 49, you were 49 years old when you were diagnosed, and we were just mentioning how long you have been going through this journey. 7 years, right? 7 years. And that is amazing. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for sharing your story and inspiring others for that. Tell me about, the diagnosis here. It wasn't actually ovarian. You were diagnosed with fallopian tube cancer. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we do know now that ovarian cancer often starts in the fallopian tube, and those two cancers are treated very similarly. Is that true, right? So ovarian and fallopian kind of treated the same way. So your official diagnosis is stage 4 fallopian tube cancer. Thank you. What was like, tell me about life before your cancer diagnosis.
I was a pretty busy, active person. I'm one of those people who was pretty surprised that I would be sick because I felt like I was very active, and I tried to eat well. And matter of fact, I think just that summer, I was diagnosed in the fall, and that summer I had just climbed a 14er with my husband. I was just starting to join him in the 14ers. And boy, that kind of slowed things down a little bit there. So I'm very involved in my church and my kids and that kind of thing. So I was like, me, really? Surely not.
Yeah, that diagnosis, I'm sure, came as a surprise. How did you tell the people that you loved that you had this diagnosis?
Those who we were really close to, we just sat down with them in person and said, this is what's happening, and we're believing for the best, and we could use your prayers and support. We're very close to our church family as well, and my husband is one of the ministers there, so he went ahead and just announced it over the pulpit, and which for me was awesome, because that means I have not just a handful of people praying for me, but many people praying for me. So they just started in droves helping me out with meals and gifts and cards, and it was really wonderful. I had no idea how much people cared. It was very precious to me.
That's a nice feeling, isn't it? That kind of when people just rally and support you like that. How lucky you are. That is very lucky. Tell me about treatment when you started chemo and treatment for your cancer diagnosis. Tell me about the beginning of that.
I had surgery first. It was pretty major surgery. What they call debulking, to get the cancer out and all the surrounding area that it was attached to. And so then I had a little bit of recovery time before they started the chemo. And I had basic chemo with the 6 treatment plan at that point. And that was hard. Kind of knocked me for a loop. I had no idea how hard that would be. I mean, to be honest with you, I was more afraid of the chemo than I was of the surgery, which I know the surgery was major, but you just hear about the chemo and these are toxins you're putting in your body. And I'm like, Yeah. And it was hard. I have to be honest. Some people say, chemo wasn't bad for me, but it was rough on me. I did have a hard time with this particular type of chemo. Okay. Subsequent chemos weren't as bad as that one, but that one was.
So the first round really you found was harder than some of your other chemo regimes.
Yes. Okay. And I think part of that might have been because I was the surgery was so major that my body was just trying to get back to where it was, and it didn't have that chance, that fighting chance.
Right.
Came along, and so I spent a lot of time in bed, which is not normal for me. I stay busy, so it was a change.
Yeah, I bet that is a major life, and really like a stage 4 fallopian tube diagnosis. They don't want to mess around with that. They want to get you in for surgery as soon as possible and start your chemo as soon as possible. And that can be, I can imagine how hard that can be on your body.
Yeah.
I mean, really, yeah, I can imagine. What do you feel like is the most difficult part of this cancer journey that you are on?
I'm kind of or at least I used to be a type A personality, kind of get in there, take charge, get things done, put things in order, solve problems. And I couldn't do that with this. Well, I'll just say it had me at that point until I learned to not let it have me. I'm a spiritual person. I believe in God, and I know that there's nothing that I've ever gone through or could ever go through that he's not right there by my side walking with me. And I kind of had to say, all right, God, I guess I hadn't given you control of my life previously, and I really hadn't. But the spiritual thing that I went through when I was going through chemo and the connection that I made with God is absolutely profound. And it helped to lift a lot of those burdens and things I was carrying.
Right.
And made my life a little easier once I said, okay, I don't. And so in the long run, I no longer felt like the cancer was getting the better of me. I was able to learn how to get a leg up on it and help myself through the grace of God.
And that's really you really have to change the way you think about it and the energy that you put into it. And yeah, good for you for figuring that out early, because I bet that's a challenge indeed. How is life going for you now?
It's good. I'm good. Like I said, because I went through that, I felt like it woke me up to some of the things that maybe I was not doing right in my life, being hard on myself. And I guess I didn't really think about it at the time, because I love to do a lot of things for other people. I'm a giver, I'm a doer. And
I know that about you, yeah.
I realized that it was almost to my detriment to try to be a people pleaser. And so I had to really stop and reevaluate my life and say, wait a minute, what about me time? I thought, no, people don't take me time. That's selfish. And I learned from wonderful programs and teachings and counselors that, it's okay. It's okay to slow down, step back, find those things that are very important to you, and know your limitations. And that was something that's like, oh, I have limitations? I didn't think I'm Superwoman. Ta-da!
Right? Aren't we all Superwoman until, yeah.
I was able to find balance, I guess is the right way to put it.
Great.
And I'm so much happier. Right?
Wow.
I'm a lot happier person than I used to be. So who knows?
Wow.
Who knew what cancer could bring? I know that sounds
it really does change you, though. I mean, it really does change there's life before and life after. And yes. Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you're at that point, because that sounds good. Let's talk about coping skills. What coping skills, we've kind of talked about that a little bit already, but yeah, your coping skills and your coping mechanisms. You said, you prayed a lot and relied on your faith. That's very important. What other things can you think of off the top of your head that you would say helped you as far as coping skills go?
The mindfulness programs.
Oh, yeah.
Breathing techniques.
Mm-hmm.
change in diet and nutrition. I did a lot of coloring as a young lady, very young, in my teens and 20s. I used to paint, but I never really got that into it. And all of a sudden I had this desire to start painting. And so that has really been therapeutic for me as well.
Great.
Just taking time out of the day, taking walks, being aware of those things that stress your life.
These are the distractions that Cheri talks about so much. Like, take a break from it. You don't have to think about and live in cancer 24 hours a day. You really don't. I mean, it feels like you do, you know, and especially in the beginning, sure, absolutely. But, you know, once you can kind of figure out how to, you know, I still want to walk my dog every day and I want to do that without thinking about cancer, and you can kind of block it for that time and walk the dog and enjoy your day, and then come back and handle your appointments or whatever you need to do for the rest of the day. Yeah, that whole kind of thought, you know, blocking those thoughts and distracting yourself from it, I think that is, yeah, that's powerful. And you said the mindfulness meditation stuff, you know, you and I took that class together when Cheri offered it last year. And wow, that really does, you know, putting a mindfulness practice into your daily routine really does help with a lot of things. And I'm glad that Cheri offers that class, because it helps me tremendously. Right. Yeah, it is good. So tell me, what would you tell somebody who is newly diagnosed with stage 4 fallopian tube cancer? What would you say to her?
Not to let this be a missed opportunity in your life. It's devastating, and the C word is just, people don't want to hear it, and it's very, very hard. It's difficult, but it doesn't have to be. How do I say this without sounding non-empathetic? I don't mean it that way at all. Let me just share what happened to me, and that is that it did give me a time to reflect on where my life was going and what I was doing, and basically letting go of some of the things that I thought were needful in my life that weren't. And cancer doesn't have to overcome you. You can indeed help yourself get better if you are willing to do the research and reach out to resources with programs and support groups and counselors. There's so many people that want to help you. Oh my goodness. And the love and the goodness from people that pours into your life is so healing.
Right.
So definitely take advantage of every program that is out there and available to you, and at least just dip your toes in it. If you're like, I'm not into this, okay, dip your toes, because I said the same thing for a support group 7 years ago. And these women are so important to me today. I'm so glad I dipped my toes. But just remember that you have cancer. Cancer doesn't have you.
That's right.
You can do this.
Yeah.
No matter how miserable, how hard it looks, how big the mountain is. One step at a time, one day at a time.
That's right. Teeny tiny little steps, and we'll get you to the end. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. That's so inspiring. You're wonderful. This question I think is so interesting. Some people call themselves a cancer survivor. Some people say thriver, fighter, superhero, warrior. Tell me about your label. What do you call yourself?
I like to call myself an overcomer.
Mm-hmm. She's overcome a lot.
Because I just feel like I've overcome so many obstacles. In addition, well, you know, I may currently be still experiencing some of the cancer things, but I feel like I've overcome some of the things that come along with cancer, and maybe not just cancer, but just in life in general, because cancer helps, it brings you into focus. So I've been able to overcome a lot of the things that maybe would normally knock me over. And I'm like, nah, I'm stronger than that. I can do this. So yeah, I'm an overcomer.
Yes,
I'm
you
grateful.
are. You have overcome so much. And I'm so proud that, you are a part of this organization. Honestly, I just think that you're just such an amazing overcomer. You just overcome so many things.
Thank you.
Have you benefited from any Sue's Gift programs or any of those things that you want to talk about?
Oh, heck yeah. You guys are awesome. You are. I mean, I can't say enough, and I'm struggling to find the right adjectives about how absolutely wonderful and positive and meaningful your programs are. The whole shebang, the whole kettle pot, everything. But I think I had mentioned before that the way I see the organization, it's like having a big sister. She's always there for you. She's holding your hand. You can go to her for advice.
Yeah.
She'll help you out financially if you need it. She'll give you her blouse to wear. It's just that, I guess that's the way I feel. It's just so many wonderful, warm, caring people there for you, and for you guys, and they're volunteers. These people aren't getting paid, a lot of them, so it's amazing. Yes, I've benefited in so many ways through the mindfulness.
Yeah.
The Women to Women program is awesome. Yay.
Yay, woman to woman, yeah.
The race, I love the race. On and on and on. The Christmas programs. Oh my gosh.
Christmas party. Remember the Christmas party? Maybe this year we'll get to do that again.
Yeah. There's so many things that I probably can't list them. So all of you out there, go and look them up. Become a part. You won't regret it.
Well, thank you for that. And you are one of our mentors in our Woman to Woman program. Thank you for doing that. That is such amazing and important work, especially right now. And we have a team of volunteers who can help newly diagnosed patients with every gynecologic cancer type. We have representation. We have somebody who has been through that cancer and can help newly diagnosed patients. And to me, that is just the most incredible thing. I mean, we do a lot of incredible things at Sue's Gift, but to me, when we were able to put that program in place and kind souls like you and the original 5 ladies that came and trained, you were right at the beginning of that program with us, to be able to offer that kind of emotional support for patients. And when my mom was diagnosed with ovarian cancer way back when, they didn't even have a support group for gynecologic cancer patients. They had a women's cancer support group, which was basically breast cancer patients and my mom who had ovarian cancer. So it was just like so really, like, fast forward all these years, and now this is what Sue's Gift can offer to people. It blows my mind. And I'm so grateful and honored. And thank you for being one of the people that spearheaded that and came right on board and said, yes, I will help these newly diagnosed patients. I mean, I love you for it, Cheri. I really do.
You're welcome.
You are the best. So let's talk about awareness a little bit. Before you were diagnosed, did you know anything about gynecologic cancers?
I didn't know you could get cancer there. No, I had never heard of this or any gynecological. The only thing is cervical. You hear about that, and you get your pap smears, and you think you're covered.
Right.
So
isn't that
wow.
the truth? So many people, so many women think that they go in and they get their pap smear, and that screens for all gynecologic cancers. And there are 7 gynecologic cancers, and the pap smear detects 1. Yeah. So 7 different types of cancers that you can get down there. And there's only an early detection for 1 of them. So yes, yeah. People are often misunderstood, don't understand that. Yeah. And I can understand. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. Let's talk about what would you want other women to know about as far as awareness for gynecologic cancers in general?
Just to be in tune with your body. It kind of comes down to that. I think we have the tendency to dismiss things because we're mothers and aunts and daughters and grandmothers, and we just feel like we are tough and we're experiencing some uncomfortableness and we don't say anything. We could keep going. But we really do need to zero in on anything that's not quite right in our bodies, that maybe not just dismiss it, but go in and get it checked out and be persistent.
Yeah.
The doctor may dismiss it the first time, and even the second time, and possibly the third time. I went through the very same thing. They thought I had bladder infection. But just be diligent, care about, love your body, love who you are, and do what, not in addition to your mammograms and your CPAP, say, let's just feel that abdomen, make sure everything in there is good.
Right.
Don't dismiss it. Don't
dismiss it. Absolutely. If something is new or different in your body and it's going on for more than 2 weeks, you should absolutely talk to your doctor about it. And I think you're right. I mean, as women, we prioritize everybody else's needs over our own. That was, even more true during this pandemic. We're all trying to take care of our kids and homeschool and take care of our husband, we're taking care of everybody else. And we have to remember to take care of ourselves. That we really, really do. That is such an important message. And, you and I have talked in the past about your actual diagnosis and how long it took you to get that diagnosis, because you were vigilant. You kept going back to the doctor and saying, this isn't right. Isn't that true? Like
Yeah.
You were diagnosed with bladder infection and then something else. And then isn't that when you were first diagnosed?
Yeah, the doctor kind of felt like it was a bladder infection and put me on antibiotics, and the antibiotics ran out and I was still experiencing trouble with that. And she actually examined me too. And then she put me on a stronger antibiotic and that wasn't working. And the whole process took about 3 months before she finally said, I'm going to send you to a urologist.
Wow.
This isn't working. But guess what? The urologist is requesting that you have a CT scan before you even go to the office. Bingo.
That's
what did it. Yeah.
The CT scan was the do all tell all. Yes.
Yep.
Good. Yeah. But the persistence there, like, this still isn't going away. I need to go back to the doctor. This still isn't going away. And a lot of women may have just walked away from that and felt like, well, I guess this is my new normal. This is what my body does now, especially at the age, you know what I mean? When you get into your late 40s, early 50s and things start to change in your body and you're like, I guess this is what it is. So good for you for being persistent.
Yeah, Susan, I really thought that I was hitting menopause. So I didn't really question a lot of that stuff. It's kind of a hard thing because, a lot of women say, well, you can't be overly concerned and think you've got cancer if it's just menopause. So there's a balance there. I think maybe research might help you, not necessarily research on the computer. Don't do that. It's scary.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Go to somewhere like Sue's Gift and say, what are the signs and symptoms? What should I be doing? And just some friendly advice and might kind of help direct you without overcoming you.
Right. Absolutely. We have like symptom trackers where you can kind of track the symptoms that you're actually having for a couple of weeks. And then you take that piece of paper with you to the doctor and say, no, I had these symptoms on this day, this day, this day, this day. It kind of really puts it in the doctor's hands and says, this is real and true. And this is what's happening. And I have documented it. Please do something about it. And with that, you're right. I mean, it's that kind of advocating for yourself and having to, really move your medical professional in the, and the other thing women should know is their family history and any, like if there's any family history of breast, ovarian cancers, uterine cancer, also there might be a genetic click to that. Those are very important to know and to discuss with your doctor so that they know that you have family history of some of these cancers, because they're saying more and more they're finding genes and things like that these are can often be hereditary. So your family history is also important to discuss with your doctor. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Let's see. How important has having a network of survivors available for support affected your journey? How important is that?
Wow. Like I said in the beginning, I was not interested in going into any kind of support group just because the first thing you think of is, AA. Did I say that right? Yeah, AA. And, which is a wonderful program, don't get me
Sure.
wrong.
Yeah.
But you just feel like, do I really need that? And
Right.
I guess you have some misconceptions about what it's all about. But if I could say, it's more like a warm, cozy little nest that you go into, and the other little birds there have the same needs that you have. And you work together. And then there's this mother bird, the counselor or supervisor, whoever it is, who just tends to your needs. And being able to share with other people who are going through the exact same thing with you. Oh my goodness. And they're giving you advice, and maybe they're not giving you advice. Maybe they're just saying, yeah, I understand. I was there. And you can't really experience that with anyone other than someone who's been down that road and come out. A lot of them have come out the other side and are many years out and healthy and happy and doing great. And what an encouragement and inspiration.
Right.
So yeah, definitely been a great help to me. I love my sisters. I really do. Wonderful people.
They love you very much too. What an inspiration you are to them as well. Honestly, so true. If you could do anything in the world, cancer not limiting you, what would it be?
I thought about this for a long time. And I think at first I was thinking, well, before, the good Lord takes me home, whenever that is, because no man's promised tomorrow. Right. I know we think we're all going to live forever, but
we're not.
With or without cancer, your time's going to come, whether it's this way or not.
So nobody gets out alive. That's what my mother used to say.
Yeah.
Nobody gets out.
What mountains do I want to climb, or what places would I like to go to? Europe, and what things have I not done? And you start making a list. Okay, I got to get these things done. But the further along I've come, Susan, I think that all doesn't really matter. My true joy is in those that are around me and my family. So being able to wake up and just thank God for a new day and make the most of that day and love those around me that have been there for me, who've walked this journey, have gone through it with me, and to be able to bless and give back to whoever might need encouragement. I think that's my goal. I think that's good. That's all I really need, to be able to give back and bless others the way they've blessed me.
I just love your heart, Cheri.
Thank you.
I really do. I just, you're just one of the most amazing people on the planet. You really are. You just, thank you so much for doing this with me. I really appreciate you sharing your story with us again and being able to do this. And I just love seeing you. Thank you so much for participating.
Thank you so much for having me. What an honor it is. And you're a lovely, wonderful person. God bless you for all you do.
Oh, thank you, Cheri. You're great.